that he can eat it. Then Maudgalyayana took some food and went to offer it to Lasarkatisya. But as soon as the latter tried to bring it to his mouth, it changed into mud. Sariputra in turn begged for food and presented it to him, but Lasarkatisya's mouth closed up by itself. Finally, the Buddha came with some food and offered it to him. By means of the Buddha's immense merit, Lasarkatisya was finally able to eat it. After having eaten, the monk developed joy and increased faith and veneration. The Buddha said to the bhiksu, "All conditioned dharmas have suffering as their nature," and he preached the Four Noble Truths to him. At that very moment, the bhiksu's impurities disappeared and his mind opened. He became an arhat. However, there are beings whose merits are so small and whose sins are so heavy that even the Buddha himself cannot save them. Also, knowing that beings do not exist and deeply penetrating the fundamental element, the Buddhas are without any memories and thought constructions that say, "This one can be saved, that one cannot be saved." Their thoughts are always calm and their minds neither increase nor decrease. This is why the bodhisattva wants to fulfill the wishes of all beings, but as a result of their sins, the latter cannot receive their favors. It is not the fault of the bodhisattva. 3. Material benefits granted by the bodhisattva. Here the Prajnaparamitasutra is speaking about fulfilling the wishes of beings in regard to food and drink, garments, bedding, ointments and perfumes, vehicles, houses, couches and other utensils. What is meant by these objects? 1. By food and drink we understand briefly mouthfuls of food which is twofold, coarse or subtle. On the one hand, cakes, cooked rice, etc. On the other hand, the food of 100 flavors. Although a sutra says that all beings subsist by means of the four foods, here it is a matter of food in mouthfuls only. The other three foods, being immaterial, cannot be passed on. Besides, if one gives food in mouthfuls, one is giving by the very fact of the other three. Why? Because food in mouthfuls strengthens the other three, as is said in the Sutra. When the benefactor gives food, he is giving 5 benefits to the recipients. Beverages, as they are usually called, are of 2 types. 1. Wines from plants such as the grapevine, sugarcane, etc. 2. Plant liquors. Mead from honey, pomegranate liquor, pear liquor, etc. And all cereal liquors. This whole grouping constitutes food and drink of humans, but there is also the food and drink of the gods, namely, nectar, ambrosia, foods consisting of the heavenly fruits, etc. The liquor of the Madhumadava, etc. Each being has his own food. Beings eat grains, meat, pure food or impure food. When they approach the bodhisattva, all are satisfied. 2. Garments are of 2 kinds. 1. Some come from living beings such as silks, furs, tanned leathers, etc. 2. Others come from plants such as cottons, tree bark, etc. There are also the garments of the gods. They have no fabric and arise spontaneously on trees. They are brilliant in color, light and soft. 3. Bedding consists of beds, coverlets, mattresses, curtains and pillows. 4. Ointments and perfumes are of 2 kinds. 1. Powdered sandalwood, etc. which is put on the body. 2. All kinds of mixed perfumes that are reduced to powder and put on the body, used to perfume clothing, or put on the ground or on walls. 5. Vehicles 1. Elephants, horses, chariots, carriages, etc. 6. Houses such as dwellings, palaces, temples, etc. built of earth, wood or precious objects, to protect from cold, heat, wind, rain, thieves. 7. Lamps, such as tallow candles, oil lamps, wax candles, luminous pearls, etc. 8. Other utensils 1. Everything that beings have need of. As it would be impossible to mention them completely, the sutra gathers them all together into one group. Question. Why does it not speak of incense, marvelous flowers, etc.? Answer. The sutra has already included them in speaking of other utensils. Question. If that is so, it should have spoken in brief about 3 things only: food and drink, clothing and adornments. Answer. The 6 things of which the sutra spoke are absolutely essential. Whoever wishes the good of beings first of all gives them food and drink. Next he gives them clothing. The body being dirty and bad-smelling, he gives ointments and perfumes. Then he gives bedding. Cold and rain require houses. Finally, darkness requires lamps. Question. But the perfume of flowers also chases away bad smells. Why does the sutra not speak of it? Answer. Flowers do not last and quickly fade. The usefulness is minimal, and that is why the sutra does not speak of them. As for incense burners, they are necessary in cold weather but difficult in hot weather. Ointments and perfumes are useful in both kinds of weather. When it is cold, they are put into water. When it is hot, they are mixed with sandalwood powder and put on the body. This is why the sutra speaks only of ointments and perfumes. IV. Generosity informed by the perfection of wisdom. Question. The person who practices the perfection of generosity obtains immense fruits of retribution and can fulfill the wishes of all beings. Why then does the Prajnaparamitasutra say that in order to fulfill the wishes of beings, the bodhisattva should practice the perfection of wisdom? Answer. As I said above, it is by union with the perfection of wisdom that generosity becomes truly the perfection of generosity. I must repeat myself here. The wishes of the beings that it is a matter of fulfilling are not those of a single territory nor a single Jambudvipa. The bodhisattva wants to fulfill completely the wishes of people dwelling in the universes of the 10 directions and throughout the 6 destinies. Such a task cannot be realized by simple gifts but, indeed, by the perfection of wisdom. The latter destroys the notions of near and far. It destroys the notions of what is all beings and what is not all beings. It escapes the obstacles. This is why, in the time of a fingersnap, the bodhisattva creates by metamorphosis an immense body that extends everywhere in the 10 directions and fulfills the wishes of all beings. Such superknowledge, such benefits, necessarily have their origin in wisdom. This is why the bodhisattva who wants to fulfill the wishes of all beings must practice the prajnaparamita. Sattva pratisthapana. 3rd section, establishing beings in the 6 perfections. Sutra. Furthermore, O Sariputra, the bodhisattva Mahasattva who wishes that all the people living in universes as numerous as the sands of the Ganges be established in the perfection of generosity, be established in the perfections of morality, patience, exertion, ecstasy and wisdom, should practice the perfection of wisdom. Sastra. I. Establishing in the 6 perfections. Question. What are the reasons for the order adopted here by the Prajnaparamita Answer. The good is of 3 kinds. 1. The good of the present life, 2. The good of the future life, and 3. Absolute good, atyantahita. Again, there are 3 kinds of happiness. 1. The happiness of the present.